Hello and welcome back to the Rugged Rockhound. Today, once again, doing some polishing. So I've got quite a few things I brought here. So I've got all of this stuff in here. So I just finished repolishing this because it didn't get a good polish last time. Now it's got a good polish, so I just did that. Alan's been polishing up some stuff. Very nice. A little bit of red horn coral and a little bit of the crandallite. But I've got all these to go through. I'm gonna do a few tonight, do some more another night. So this right here is some, let me get it wet. This is some, I believe it's Drum Mountain agate. Yeah, I think that's some Drum Mountain. I wanted to make a cabochon out of that. I've got this nodule that I want to polish up, if you remember that one. Very nice. I've got some red horn coral. I was gonna kind of polish both ends up. Here's some of the wood we found on the recent trip. Well, recent to when I'm filming this. But I wanted to make probably a cabochon out of that as well. And then I've got this Vericite nodule that I'm looking forward to finally getting polished. So we're gonna do that one. Got a bunch more opal to get started because I got a lot of opal, so we're gonna want to kind of start getting through the opal. So I got multiple pieces here. We'll get started with it tonight, and we'll go through it. So the videos are going to probably be one video over a couple of visits because you got to go through stages for the opal, and we'll get working on this. This is a little piece of some of the wood from Nevada, and I thought maybe try and make something out of that too. So that's what I'm looking forward to in this video. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Here's my first piece of opal. It was originally just this big. It was just a standalone piece. It had a color bar right in the middle. And I've now ground down to the color bar. You guys can probably see that a little bit there. So now we're going to glue that onto some basalt. And I will go on to the next one. This is the next one. It has at least 5 color bars. You got one right at the top, which I'm going to pass. Then there's one just underneath it right about there. That's the one I'm going to grind to. If you can see it, it's right in here. And it's got more down here. So what I'm going to try and do is grind down to that one, mount it on basalt, and then we'll try and cut here and save at least one of those layers down there for more opals. So we're going to go for that layer right there. Well, we got it. We're on it. Look at that. Sweet. That one hopefully we can make it nice and big. And like I said, there's still other layers, and there's a really strong one right about there. So if we can just cut that off, maybe we can salvage another one further down. So that'd be awesome. I have made my first big mistake with the opals. I was cutting as close as I could to cut off so it would take less grinding, but I accidentally cut it at too much of an angle, and I cut through the layer I was going for, so I was able to salvage that much of it right there, but I lost this right around here, so it happens. I have a lot of opal though, so it's okay to make a few mistakes. What I got here now is these 3 opals ready to be mounted. So
I've got a piece of basalt in there.
Okay, we got a piece of basalt in here.
Bones, so it should. And there's some paper towels right over there.
Yep, we want to get it nice and clean. I want a nice clean contact. All right, put that down. Now, clean the face of the opal I want. Nice. All right, we should have all clean surfaces now. Sweet. Now we need the epoxy. Okay. About half and half. All right. Do you like using this or that?
I use the point. I like using it better. Just
mix the two epoxies. While at the same time, trying not to introduce too many air bubbles. All right. Now.
Little torch is right back there.
All right.
And you pull down on this back, and then push it forward. And
oh, okay. You just get the air bubbles out of it. Mm-hmm. Now we take and give a generous helping.
Too much thinner that got as soon as you heated it up.
Yeah. I can feel it setting fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the more you heat it, the faster it sets too.
All right, first time doing it myself.
You're a pro now.
One time does not a pro make. All right, this is what I'm going to do next. I'm going to polish this thing up. Been waiting a long time. Polishing up this beautiful Veracite nodule. All right, let's get started. So starting at the largest size of grit, we've smoothed out all of the original saw cuts. So now we can move on to the next grit. And away we go. There we are, all polished up. Now, I do notice there's a bit of a scratch still on that one going that way. And I mean, I could definitely take these to lower grit, but it's polished enough for my liking, so I'll probably just leave it there. But I can always return down the road and continue polishing it more if I wanted to finer grit. Anyway, I like it. Great, so I've got this right here that I've wanted to polish up, the drum mountain piece. So I'm going to make a cabochon. So this is my first time actually dopping the back of it, so I'm excited to give this a shot here. Get that lit. All right, so you heat the back of this.
Yep.
And you're going to heat this, melt the wax.
And then I'll kind of roll the edge and bunch that wax together. Just so that, yeah.
Kind of like that.
Kind of like that, yeah. And then it'll heat it a little bit more evenly.
I think that stone's warm enough.
Yep. Probably want to heat that 1 or 2 more passes.
All right, let's keep going a little more.
Yeah, we want it almost runny. Okay.
Okay, now that it's really runny.
And just kind of smush that a little bit. And then I push it so that that stone is right next to the cab. And then I'll lick my fingers so I don't burn the crap out of them. And just kind of push the edges a little bit. Just
give a little bit more.
Just a little compact. Make sure there's no.
Everything you can to
Yeah,
help it hold.
everything you can to help it hold. Yep.
All right. All right, we'll let that cool off.
Yeah.
All right, first need to grind the edges down to that oval. Finally ground it down to the size of the oval. It took a while because there were a lot of jagged edges, so that's why you want to cut those off to save yourself time in grinding. But there we go. So now I'll go ahead and go along the edge like that, and that will start making the oval shape. So it's taken a minute with that cabochon. I had to redo it, so it might be a minute. Anyway, I decided to go move on with this one. I'm already halfway down, so you can see it's already starting to get pretty good. We're about halfway through the grit, so I'm doing this one first, and then I'll do that cabochon. Anyway, just letting you know. All right, just finished this one. Polish came out really good. I spent some extra time on it, and it was worth it. Very, very nice. So we've dopped up 2 cabochons that I'm gonna turn into cabochons. So I've got this while I'm waiting for those to cool off. Yeah, I ground my finger enough it started to bleed. I'll get better at this. Anyway, I just want to take this piece of red horn coral and just polish both sides of it. As you can see, I've already started working on it, just kind of grinding it down and making a nice surface. Next, polish it up. Here it is, all polished up. Look at that. That turned out nice, didn't it? Red horn coral. That was fun. Alright, it's been about 20 minutes since we dopped this, so this should be ready. Hopefully this time it'll stay on. Because yeah, I started this last time I was here, but I didn't want to stay on the dop, so I waited till this time. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut around this about halfway down at an angle, and we'll start turning it into cabochon. And it fell off the dop immediately. I wonder if there's something with this agate because of the pores. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to want to stick. And I waited long enough. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of polish this. It's a piece of wood from Nevada, I believe. And I've got another piece of it that I'm going to probably turn into a cabochon, but this one I just wanted to kind of polish up as the end piece. So I was just going to polish up this side and see how it looks. Well, I got it pretty decent. There's definitely some scratches I can still see. Yeah, it was more a practice piece anyway, while I was waiting for the other dop stick to cool on the piece of wood that I have. Other piece of wood. This is a Nevada wood. And the one that I'm going to do now is this one. It's some of the wood that we found a couple weeks back, where I found that black seam and that tree trunk coming out of the ground. So let's see how this turns out. Alright, that one popped off too. Well, I think what I'm going to do then is just go ahead and turn this into a cabochon, but I'll hold it. Let's see how well it works. Whew! And there we go. All polished up. Now I did notice right at the top of the dome there are still some small scratches. That's pretty common. So the question is, do I keep trying to get those out, or am I going to call it good with this piece? I don't know yet. But for now anyway, that's as far as I'm going to go with it. Looking good. I'm learning a lot. It has now been long enough. The glue has all set. I cut these off of the black basalt, ground around them a little bit. So now I'm going to try and cut as close as I feel safe enough to the edge here. The issue being there is a beautiful seam right there I'd like to preserve, but I don't know if I can cut that thin. There is another seam further down, opal seam right there. But that one's the best one right there. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can preserve it. Too many good seams in this one. Just wanted to show you this one. I tried to cut as close as I could, and I ended up cutting right through the other one. So, I mean, cool. This, unfortunately, is going to get destroyed as I grind down to the other good one. But I get to appreciate it right now. And there's still a little bit here that could be used for something. Not much, but yeah, that's pretty good to get it straight on. Well, I did it. I managed to cut it just enough. See, I managed to preserve that seam, that layer. You can barely see it poking through there. You can see the color right on the end. And this one I was a little off kilter, and so I ground down into it here. But that's not bad. It's just right there. I still have all this to grind, and that should be good. And that's about where you want it anyway. So, nice. Saved them. All right, so we've got 3 to grind down. These 2, I believe, were from the same, and it had fractured, and so it was 2 different ones. I can't remember now. This one was separate. So this is a very thin seam. That one, unfortunately, like I said, is going to lose that, but it's got a good seam there. And then this one's going to be great once I get down into it. But it's already there. So I'm going to grind those down. And because this one's almost already ready to be mounted, I'm just going to go ahead and grind this one down too, so that I can mount that while I'm doing those pieces. Sweet. There we go. I am so glad I was able to cut it the way I did, because look what I was able to save. Look at that. I was able to cut it close enough to save that. So, woohoo! That's going to be another great one. Here's where I'm at with the largest of the 3 so far. So I've gotten it pretty thin, but you can see I'm still not quite into it yet. So I'm going to keep it on the 80 grit until I can get that coming through, and then I'm going to switch to the 600 right here and continue from there. There we go, I got it right about where I want it for the 600. So now we're going to switch to the 600, grind it down even more. Hopefully that will have an effect of giving even more color, maybe even a little darker. But it's looking good. And here's this one prepped, and it is stunning. Look at that. Wow, that one came out very nice. Been doing both of these at the same time. I've got these now to the point where I want to go to the 600. So that's what they're looking like so far. And they're both done. Look at that. And that one. Now I did mess up a little bit. I ground too much on that side, and you can see it starting to disappear there. But it's okay to make mistakes. That's how you learn. But yeah, there they are. And it's been roughly 24 hours. So this one slid a little bit to the left, you can see. So I would have preferred it a little to the right, but that's not bad at all. And that one looks great, and that one looks great. So time to turn these into some nice jewelry. Here we go. All right, with these 2, I just cut off some of the excess around it. Yeah, I put Band-Aids on my finger this time to help protect from being ground down, because I'm really good at grinding my fingers. So putting this on to protect. And this one I had to cut off the quartz. Looks like we got it a good cut there. Sweet. So everything's prepped and ready to go. Okay, there we go. Got them ground down to the right size. So let's go ahead and dop them up. And then while we're waiting for them to cool enough to use, I'll polish something else up. Great. While the opals, or the dopping, is cooling down, I'm gonna do a quick polish up on this. It's nice and small, and now it's gonna be interesting, because trying to hold these things with all this Band-Aids on my fingers to protect them, well, let's see what happens. Here it is, all polished up. Yeah, that did not take much time at all. That took me like maybe 5 minutes. And it's just because I went back a few wheels when I noticed a few tiny scratches still in the Varisite. This Varisite seems to be softer, so it grinds a little faster. So gotta be careful about that, but it looks great. So because that went so fast, I'm gonna polish up another one while I'm still waiting for those to cool down. So this one, I've already started grinding this side. That'll be nice. This will just be kind of like a shelf piece like that. And then I'm going to grind this down till I can expose the blue there, and maybe grind a little here, and then flatten this a little bit so it'll set nice on the shelf. So yeah. And there we go. All polished up as a nice little shelf piece. Just going to sit like that. Boom. Yeah, that is a nice little piece. Okay, first one, here we go. We're going to grind that down. We want that only about half as thick. And then we're going to shape it and polish it up. Well, still learning. So all 3 of the opals I had prepped, the dop stick came off, and I think it's because I didn't warm the stone side enough, because you got to warm both sides. So Alan's helped me redo them, and while I'm waiting for those to cool off, I'm going to do this crandallite specimen. It's a really nice one, so I'm gonna polish this one up. And here it is, all polished up, both halves. They turned out great. You can see if you glare it. Don't really see any scratches. It's nice. That's sweet. There you go, second attempt. We'll do this one first. And it's done. Look at that. So it's called Pinfire. That one's just a bunch of teeny little ones all over. That's fun though. Nice. All right. On to the next one. And there it is, all polished up. I can see why aesthetically you would want more opal and less of the other material, but it still looks really neat. Cool. I mean, I wish I had more of that, because that is beautiful. Nice. Well, that's opal number 2. On to the main event. So this one's already about the thickness I want it. That'll save a lot of time grinding. Okay, here goes. And there it is. Wow. Isn't that stunning? What an opal. Polished up really well. Can't wait to see what these are going to look like in the sunlight too. What a thing to end on, huh? And there you have it. 3 more awesome Spencer opals. So you guys need to go check the Spencer opal mines out, because that's 6 I've made out of just like a handful of the material I came back with. And after 2 visits, I've got 2 buckets full of the stuff. I have so much material. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. So yeah, make sure to check out the Spencer opal mines. And that's it from this polishing video. And new thing. Anyway, until next time, remember, there is treasure everywhere.